Hello, my friends. Welcome again to Enriched Lives, where you're worthy, you're blessed, and you are a creator. That's right. You're worthy, you're blessed, and you are a creator. That's right. You were created in the image of God, and God didn't make any junk. Therefore, you are somebody. Again, welcome to Enriched Lives. This program is about you. It's not about anybody else but you. And we bring topics of discussion that we believe will be very instrumental and helpful to you as we go along this journey called life. It's so important that we understand how important we really are. See, because when you devalue yourself, you're not any use to anyone. You're not good for anyone. You devalue yourself. You're not good enough. Therefore, you're not good enough for yourself and no one else. Why? Because you devalue yourself. You don't think you're worthy. Therefore, this is why we're saying, hey, you are somebody. You are worthy. And it's time for you to get up and be about your Father's business. You are a creator. You create things. That's right. So before we get into our discussion, we'd like to build our discussion on biblical principles and scriptures. We have another fantastic topic for you today, but before we do that, let me say this to you. If today is the day that you came upon the planet, let me say happy birthday to you. That's right, happy birthday to you. Why? Because you are somebody. God didn't make any junk. Happy birthday to you. If this is the day that you came upon the planet, we want to say thank you. Thank you for all the wonderful things that you're doing. Thank you for being the person that you are. Just saying happy birthday to you. Now let's look at our topic for discussion for today. And our topic for discussion for today is prioritizing your values. Prioritizing your values. That's right. If it's not of any value to you, it's not a priority to you. But when something is a priority to you, it means something to you. Therefore, you drop everything else to make sure that this gets done because it becomes a priority to you. Our scriptures that we're going to use in this particular discussion come out of the Old Testament, Daniel, the 6th chapter, Daniel, the 6th chapter in the 10th verse, and also Esther, the 4th chapter and 16th verse. Daniel and Esther, two very interesting characters in the Bible. But here we are going to look at the fact that each one had a priority. They both had a priority. Let's look at Daniel for the first priority that he had. Daniel's number one priority was the fact that he prayed. Priority. Praying was a priority to Daniel. Therefore, he prayed 3 times a day. It was his number one priority. He prayed 3 times a day. Now, here's something to keep in mind. Whenever you have a priority or something, then there's going to always be obstacles. Obstacles will rise up to define your commitment to what you say it is that you are what prioritizing. So Daniel here prays 3 times a day. Now, another thing that stands out with Daniel is the fact that he had, and his integrity was very interesting. Daniel's integrity was very interesting. He had very outstanding integrity. It was unquestionable. His integrity was unquestionable. Now, there are some people that didn't like Daniel, so they knew that they couldn't come against him with his integrity and say, this boy is untouched. We can't do anything with him like that. In order for us to get Daniel to bring him down, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to come at him from a different angle, shall we say. So what did they do? They go to the king and say, listen, king, we want you to put out an edict saying that no one should come to any other god, worship any other gods in the next 30 days without coming to you. If they do, they're going to be thrown into the lions. Then, so the king said, okay, this makes him feel good. Here's an ego thing for him. So he feels good behind it. And he says, go on handle it. Go on handle your business, shall we say. So they do that. And the next thing you know, they put this thing out. Anybody talking to any other god outside the god of the king talking to him, then they're going to be thrown in the lions then. Now, here's this obstacle. Here's this obstacle that was arisen, shall we say. Daniel has to make a decision, but there's no decision for Daniel to make. He's not going to stop praying. He does what he normally does. He prays 3 times a day. He opened up his window and faced the east, and he prayed 3 times a day. And they knew that, and they saw him doing it. So, hey, we got it right now. Okay, so we're going to throw Daniel in the lions then. Now, here's the thing that's so intriguing about that. He was committed to what he stated he was going to do. Prayer was a priority in his life. It superseded everything else. He said, I will pray 3 times a day, and he did it. He did it. See, this was a priority. His values was in prayer. It was a number one priority in his life. That is, he prayed 3 times a day. That's right, 3 times a day. So what did they do? They end up taking Daniel to the king, and they have him thrown into the lions. And the king was kind of upset with himself because he been used. But Daniel's God came through for him. That's right. Daniel did not stop doing what he was doing. He was committed to praying 3 times a day. He was committed to prayer. And whenever you're committed to something, there will always be obstacles. There will always be obstacles to define your commitment to what you say that you are committed to. So Daniel, his priority was what? Prayer. So Daniel prayed 3 times a day. Now let's look at Esther. For a time like this, Esther, a young lady who came to be the queen. You know, God has ways of doing things that looks like it's crazy to you, but it's working out just fine. And so here we have Esther who comes to be the queen out of all the young ladies when Vashti, whatever her name was, she refused to come to the king. King, well, God, give me another queen, no problem. And so here comes Esther. And Esther is chosen. The thing that's so intriguing about this particular story is the fact that Esther is in a position of authority. She is in a position where she has the ear of those who are in power, the king. So what does Esther do? Esther can be content with what she's doing, but word gets to her from Uncle Mordecai, and he says, hey, did you hear about what Haman was doing? Haman, this old boy was pretty wicked. Not only Haman couldn't stand Mordecai. He hated him with a passion almost because he wouldn't bow to him. And Mordecai did not bow to Haman, and Haman hated that. But instead of him taking out his vengeance on Haman, on Mordecai, what he does is, I'm going to have all of them, have all them Jews destroyed. So what does he do? He gets the king to put out a verdict to destroy all these people out of his kingdom. He say, hey, you got some folks in your kingdom that's not obeying your laws, and they're going against your teachings and so forth. They're going against our beliefs and everything. So you need to get these people out before they become troublemakers. And the king said, okay, go on, have your way. And Mordecai, Haman takes Mordecai, and he goes and he puts this word out. And not only does he do that, he wants all the Jews destroyed. This is something that's very deceitful, that's very detrimental to mankind. Here is this spirit of Haman that wants to wipe out a whole nation of people. He wants to do that. Of course, Esther tells the people, hey, look, when words gets to Esther and she finds out, she said, okay, so she's got to go before the king. And you couldn't step before the king without the king raising himself. If you didn't raise yourself, they're going to kill you right there on the spot. But she tells the people, look, fast for me for 3 days. Fast for me for 3 days. And Mordecai tells her, he said, look, if you think you're going to escape this particular situation, no. You're going to kill all the Jews if you can. Because the king's word is going out, and it's got to be done. Well, Esther stands before the king, and she reveals the plot that's going on. And now the world, shall we say, the story is turned. The wicked Haman, the plot that Haman's gallows that he ended up, that he wanted Mordecai hanging on, he ended up getting hanged, him and his family and everybody else. And so the Jews were restored. They defended themselves against that wicked device that Haman had done. Now, understand this, my friend, that whenever there are wicked devices like this in civilization, there have been many. Of course, you all know about Hitler. Hitler wanted to destroy all the Jews. And then there was King Leopold, I do believe. He wiped out over 50 million Africans. They didn't tell you about that one, but yeah, Leopold, he was a vicious person. And then, of course, we had the Hutus and the Tutsis. They wanted to wipe out themselves. And then we had the Serbs and the, I can't call the name, but anyway, they were going to wipe out themselves. We've had these battles going along with mankind from the longest. So it's not just necessarily a racial thing. It goes deeper. It's very deep into a deep darkness of fear. And you have people that get into power. They want to control everything, so they want to wipe out everybody. These are these power-hungry people. These are who have been infected with fear, so they are afraid and they want to destroy everybody. Now, let's look at something that's very interesting about this whole particular story. Whatever your priorities are, there are going to be obstacles for them. Now, especially like in a relationship, if there's anything missing in a relationship, it's because you didn't put it in there. Whatever is missing in your relationship is because you didn't put it in. So therefore, look at your relationship and what are your priorities? If your priority is to be more kinder, then you're going to have to work on being more kinder. If your priorities are to be more upright, then you're going to have to do that. If your priorities are to be to say, hey, I'm not going to let people run all over me, and I'm going to speak up with what I like or dislike, then that's something that you're going to have to work on. But whatever your priorities are, then you're going to have to make sure that you get out there and work on what your priorities. No one can ask this question for you but you. But you have the ability and the power to do that. Why? Because God has given you a mind to control what it is that comes to you. You are not put value on anything that you don't like. You will not receive anything that you don't like. So therefore, understand in essence how important you are. You are a divine being created in the image of God. Now, my friend, whatever your priorities are, whether it's finances, whether it's education, whether it's relationships, whatever it is, you have the ability to work on it and you have the ability to change it. Why? Because God has given you a mind. And the scripture says, be you renewed by the renewing of your mind. In other words, think differently about yourself. And you are somebody. Until next time, my friend. Until next time, you be blessed. And may the good Lord bless you. May love, joy, peace, and happiness forever be with you as you walk upon this good earth that God has given us. And again, thank you, my friend. And share this story with someone. Give us a like on this and say, hey, we appreciate you. We appreciate you doing this. Until next time, you be blessed, my friend. Until next time, may love, joy, peace, and happiness forever be in your life as you walk upon this good earth that God has given us. You be blessed, my friend. And thank you for tuning in.